Hello everybody and welcome to this new episode of Sartorial Talks. Today we're going to continue our journey inside my personal shoe collection, and we're going to start with the shoe number 11. Shoe number 11 is very important for me because this was my very first pair of bespoke shoes ever. And when I say bespoke, in this case, I'm talking about real bespoke. That is to say, measurement, fitting shoe. The bootmaker had to redo the shoe and everything, so a real bespoke process that took close to 1 year actually to make. And I decided to do this first pair of bespoke shoes at Mario Bemer in Florence. This shoe has been crafted by the shoemaker of Mario Bemer, who was at Mario Bemer back in the years. His name is a Japanese shoemaker. His name is Seiji Miyagawa. And as far as I know now, he left Mario Bemer, I would say 1 year ago, a little bit more now. And now he's working with Norman Vilalta in Barcelona. Anyway, it's a beautiful pair, as you can see, of burgundy. It's a classic Oxford with a cap toe, full bespoke. And you can see that this shoe is absolutely marvelous. I've been wearing this pair with many different kind of outfit, and I can say now that the burgundy, this kind of color, which has a lot of personality, and I'm very happy with this first pair. Mario Bemer has left his company now at the same time as Seiji Miyagawa, so as far as I know, he's starting something different in the US. But the company, Mario Bemer, still exists in Florence, and it's a very good company. So I'm very happy with this first pair, and it was my first experience in bespoke. And even if I was among the first to say, well, you know, if you don't have some kind of morphology issues with your feet, and if you have, you know, some kind of if you're very tall, for example, or if you have extremely long feet, or you have extremely high instep or no arch like people from Asia, you can go bespoke. But otherwise, 95% of the time, or 95% of the population can really, enter some ready-to-wear or made-to-order shoes without going to bespoke. But I must confess that when you have tasted a real bespoke like I have with Mario Bemer in Florence, you immediately feel the difference. It's another world, literally. So I take back what I said many times on Parisian Gentlemen and in many conferences that, well, you know, bespoke shoes, you know, most of the people don't need to go bespoke in shoes. Well, I must admit it's a real difference. So pair number 11, Mario Bemer, Oxford, Burgundy, full bespoke by the bootmaker Seiji Miyagawa. Then now we move to pair number 12. This has been my most wanted pair. I've been waiting for this pair for more than 1 year and a half. Why? Because it was my second pair of bespoke shoes. And I decided to go in Naples this time to visit my good friend Antonio Meccariello. So if you follow Sartorial Talks since a while, you have heard about Antonio Meccariello. We've been among the most fervent supporters of this man who is working in Benevento, in the region of Napoli, in Italy. And Antonio Meccariello is a very interesting persona. You have to understand, first of all, the man if you want to do business with him or even to order shoes with him, because it's a kind of it's a very strong personality. Antonio Meccariello was the shoemaker for Kiton back in the years. His family was in shoemaking, his whole family since generation, but he was started to be well known when Antonio de Matteis and Ciro Paone from Kiton asked him to build the shoemaking atelier for Kiton. This is what he did, Antonio Meccariello, because you know that Kiton, they love to do everything inside the house. And so they had an atelier for their own shoes, and it was executed and created by Antonio Meccariello himself. Since that, he decided to roll for himself and to do his own company with his own name, Antonio Meccariello. It's 15 kilometers from Napoli, and it's absolutely beautiful, gorgeous. Meccariello offers different lines. The Argentum, which is his entry line, if we can say, because most of the Argentum are hand-velted, so it's very high level with a very decent price. Then you have the Aurum line, which is everything is hand-velted and handmade, but on existing form. And then you have his bespoke, of course, which is on which he's creating a form and a last for every customer. I did on Bespoke, you can see this beautiful Adelaide Oxford in the beautiful dark burgundy leather, and I'm very happy with it. So Meccariello, honestly, between you and me, for this kind of product, this one is Bespoke. And if you go also to this Argentum and Aurum line, it's a beautiful shoemaker, and the cost of an Antonio Meccariello shoe is extremely valuable, because it is, I mean, we're talking about 600, 700, 800 for the ready-to-wear, a little bit more, of course, for a Bespoke, around 2,000, but it's still extremely affordable for people who want to enter the world of high-level luxury shoes. So shoe number 12, Antonio Meccariello, an Adelaide Oxford. For my shoe number 13, I decided to come back to Corthay, because I wanted to try the Arca, you know, this famous Arca that I love so much, but with a buckle. So this is what I did with my shoe number 13. I do the single buckle Arca, and it's a beautiful shoe, as you can see. So it has all the appearance and the shape and the last of an Arca, except the two eyelets is replaced by a buckle. And it's a beautiful shoe, extremely. So once again, a one buckle shoe. Well, people love double monk strap, no problem, but for me, I found it a little bit more formal and much more chic and elegant than a double buckle. Once again, it's just a matter of taste. So shoe number 13, my Arca boucle, Arca one buckle from Corthay. For my pair number 14, I decided to stay at Corthay once again. And I decided to stay with an Arca once again, because I adore this shoe and this pattern. But for this shoe, I decided to do something a little bit daring. This is not the pair of the shoe you're going to wear the most in your life, but when you start to reach, more than 10 pairs, you can grant yourself the privilege to have some very specific shoes. And this is a very specific shoe because it's a pair of Arca, but in patent leather. So black in patent leather, that with a specific shine, and you can see also that the piping has been done also on this pair of shoes with a gold leaf. So of course it's a pure black tie dinner pair of shoes that you wear, that I wear actually most of the time with my black tie, my tuxedo. So this is my interpretation, and what I like in patent leather is that it can be extremely tricky. Be careful with patent leather, because you have to pull it off properly. It can become a little bit shiny. You remember that when you are in black tie, you are extremely elegant, of course, but you have to be, the spirit of a black tie even is that the guys all look the same. They all have the same kind of garments, and so you have to remain extremely discreet in a black tie event. So you have to be very careful with patent leather, because it has to be coordinated with the right garments, first thing, but second thing, it has to be pulled off properly. Otherwise, people will look at your feet only. If you have some really shiny patent leather and you don't know exactly how to pair it, you have to be very careful. So you can't wear this often, only with the black tie occasion, but if you do so, this is beautiful and I love it. But with this small recommendation, don't go too far with patent leather, because the idea is that the shoes will not become the center of the picture, you are the center of the picture. And then we move to shoe number 15. And shoe number 15 is probably the most original shoe I have in my collection. It's an old animal. It's a shoe that I've never seen anywhere else before. And it's a shoe that is crafted by my friend Norman Vilalta, a shoemaker in Barcelona, Spain. And Norman is originally from Argentina, Patagonia, and he's been trained as a lawyer first, so it has a very interesting story. He was a lawyer in Argentina, and he decided when he was 31 years old that it's kind of late when you start to think about your future career. But he decided at 31 years old he didn't want to be a lawyer anymore, and he wanted to become a shoemaker and a bespoke shoemaker. And so what do you do when you want to become a bespoke shoemaker? You have to train. And when you're 31 years old, you can't go in school to train. So what Norman Vilalta did, he decided to quit his Argentina, to fly over to Europe. He knocked at the door at Stephane Bemer, of course, and he entered the Stephane Bemer atelier as an apprentice. So it's a very touching story when a man at 31 years old accepts the fact that he will have to learn everything from scratch, It's very humbling as an attitude, and I like the fact that Norman did this when he was already in his 30s, and he became a very, very interesting and super creative shoemaker. And the model I bought from here, it was a ready-to-wear model, is his famous Deacon Chelsea boot. This is a strange word, Deacon Chelsea boot. You're going to see it right now. You can see this is literally an unidentified walking object that you can see now, because it's a fusion between a derby, two eyelet, and a Chelsea boot. So you see, in every Chelsea boot, you have the elastic, lateral elastic that makes this shoe so easy to wear, so comfortable. But on top of that, you have a two eyelet derby. So Norman really, believe me, it's not easy to innovate in the shoe patterns, because honestly, this market is so explosive and so dynamic these days that we have the impression that everything has been invented, everything has been designed already, and when you create a model, it's just your interpretation of an icon. But with this model, I can tell that Norman did accomplish something which is extremely rare, that he created something exclusive that you can only find at his place. Well, it will be copied for sure, because you know that in this kind of trade, you don't have the right to have copyrights or patents, because shoes are still considered like shoes, by the way, like utilitarian objects. So you can't have a patent on something you need for living. But I can tell you that with this pair of Deacon Chelsea, Norman Vilalta attracted a lot of attention from the world on his work. Beautiful boots with a strong personality. I did a very, very strong red burgundy patina on this shoe. I wear them with a suit made for me by Luigi Del Cuore in Napoli, and I asked Luigi Del Cuore to do the bottom of my trousers a little bit higher than usual, so that I can show these beautiful boots. So I'm very happy. This is extremely, if you want something that really makes you step out of the crowd, you can go to Vilalta. You're going to find something you like. And then we move to pair number 16. And for that, I didn't have so far any kind of really, really casual boots or casual shoes. So I decided that I wanted for the winter something extremely casual. And I asked my friend Justin Fitzpatrick. He was in London back in the years. Now he's in New York with his brand Justin Fitzpatrick Footwear to sell me a pair of these mountain boots. It's like, we call it Corthay in French. This is the pair of boots that you were skiing with back in the 1950s. And this is the pair that have the feels of the look and feel of an alpinism boot. And so the name of this mountain boot is a very strange one. It's called Snoqualmie. You will ask Justin Fitzpatrick why he baptized this pair Snoqualmie. I hope I pronounce it well. Anyhow, it's a beautiful pair of mountain boots. This is the typical kind of shoes and boots that I love to wear with a pair of jeans, of selvage jeans, Japanese selvage, for example, during the weekend. You can wear this. Okay, it's not it's not a dress boot, but still I adore the feeling, this sturdy mountain boot, and beautiful. And of course the quality and the quality price ratio at Fitzpatrick is extremely good. These boots are crafted in Spain and they're very high quality. So pair number 16 by Justin Fitzpatrick, the Snoqualmie mountain boots. And we arrive to pair number 17 and 18. And I'm gonna I say 17 and 18 because I bought two pairs of the same model in two different colors. That was something I didn't have. To be honest with you, we are already reaching almost the end of my collection. I have, as you can see now, a lot of Oxfords, a lot of derbies, a few boots, but I have no loafers. And I explain you why. Actually, I tried to have loafers many times. But, you know, it doesn't fit me. If I try penny loafers like the famous Western moccasin, it's called the 180 is the name of the model, I look like I'm a mathematics teacher. It doesn't fit me at all. If I try something a little bit more like a tassel loafer, I look like I'm an English teacher. Or it doesn't fit me. So I tried, and even with my wife, we love loafers, but on me it doesn't work at all. Except the soft loafer, and specifically the soft loafers of Corthay called the Cannes. This soft loafer is what we call a horse-bit loafer. And the horse-bit loafer that's been popularized by Gucci. Everybody loves these Gucci loafers with the two C's inverted. Everybody loves this kind of shoes. It's very, comfortable, extremely soft. You can wear it without socks. This is what I do. Actually, I usually wear them without socks. And so I decided to go for soft loafer, but two pairs in a row, that is to say, at the same time, one with a very interesting normal brown patina, and the other one with a very interesting, I don't know how to explain it. You can see on the screen, it's kind of reddish with a little bit of brown inside, and it's very interesting because I didn't know we were able to bring a patina to some suede shoes, and you can see that we can do some patina. It's kind of technical, but it's beautiful. So I'm very happy, and I must admit that when I bought those two pairs, I was not sure I'm going to wear them a lot, but actually I'm wearing them a lot, and I just discovered that eventually I became a little bit lazy. And I understand why people love so much to have this kind of mocassin, we say in France, of loafers, because it's the epitome of the lazy shoe. You don't even have to bend to lace them. It's very easy. I'm looking at my feet because I wear them right now. You can't see them on the screen, but it's extremely comfortable. I must confess that I became a little bit lazy with that, but watch out. It will not stop me in my quest for the most exclusive pair of shoes. So we are at shoe number 18 right now. This is over for what I have in my closet right now, but I have two projects going on and two pair of shoes, and probably the two pair of shoes I've been dreaming the most of in progress. The first pair I'm waiting for, and I hope I will be able to show you this pair, I would say in 3 or 4 months, is a pair of Brillantina by the house of Bontoni in Montegranaro in Italy. If you don't know Bontoni, you better take a look, because these people are crafting absolutely brilliant shoes. The name is Brillantina of this one, but it's really one-of-a-kind shoes with exclusive patina, fantastic. These people have been pushing the art of patina to a new level, because they don't dye the shoe, they literally paint it. And between one layer of painting and another layer, sometimes the shoe has to wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They are really extremist people. And these people at Bontoni in Montegranaro in the Marche region, which is the cradle of shoemaking in Italy, they are close to artists. Can you believe that inside the workshop of Bontoni, the last maker, that is to say the man who is in charge of making the wood last for the shoes, is also a violin maker. That is to say that he's doing 3 or 4 lasts for shoes, and in between shoes he's doing a violin. So it's just to give you an idea of who these typical Italian people, typical. You can only find this in Italy. The guy is just working on shoes, and all of a sudden he decides to execute the body of a violin. So these people are very closer to artists than artisans, but their shoes are absolutely gorgeous, and I'm going to show you as soon as I receive them my pair of Brillantina, this fantastic single buckle. I'm obsessed with single buckle on a Norwegian construction. Beautiful shoe. It's like never seen before this kind of shoe. So I'm dreaming of them every day. This is probably this is the kind of pair of shoe that I can easily sleep with. Only thing that I have to ask Sonia if it's okay with her. And my last pair that this one is not even I'm dreaming of it. I'm daydreaming about it. It's with we have a special project with my friend, my dear friend Stephane Jimenez in Bordeaux, France. Stephane Jimenez, if you are once again followers of SARTORIAL Talk, you've heard about him. He's a fantastic shoemaker. He was the head of the Stephane Bemer atelier in Florence until year 2000. Then he was a cordwainer in Bordeaux, and then he decided at last, before that he was working as a master shoemaker at John Loeb in Paris, so you see the real high level. He's been training, for example, Anthony Delos, who is one of the bootmaker, very famous bootmaker in France at Berluti, has been trained by Stephane Jimenez. Norman Vilalta also was under the supervision of Stephane when he was training at Stephane. So a very, very interesting shoemaker, probably one of the most talented in the world. And we have a project. I can only show you now the shape, the last, and the first rough idea of what we're going to do. This is going to be pure bespoke. And the name of the model is, bear my name, is called the Hugo. And I can't wait to show you this pair of shoes. I would say, I hope it will come sometime next year, 2020 probably, during the winter. This is probably one of the most interesting projects. This is full bespoke. We're going to take like 80 hours by hand to craft, but I'm sure Stephane Jimenez, as usual, will produce a real masterpiece. And that will be, with this pair of shoes, I will reach probably what I'm looking for since so many years in my shoe collection. That is to say, something which is really, I'm comfortable in, of course, which is beautiful, but it's also an expression of who I am inside. And you will see that this pair of shoes is going to be extremely special while remaining totally discreet. I hope this two-part series on my personal shoe collection was interesting for you. One more time, my idea was not to give you a lesson on how to build a shoe collection, but more to share with you my experience, my choices on the different shoes that are in my closet right now. As you know, shoes, it's even worse, I guess, than suits. It's a never-ending story, because the moment I will receive my Bontoni and my Jimenez, I know exactly what's going to happen in my mind. I'm going to immediately think about what's next. What is my shoes? For example, I still have some things that I lack in my collection. I don't have a double monk. I don't have a loafer. I mean, I have soft loafer, but I still don't have a penny loafer or a tassel loafer. And I will love to find a design that will fit me in terms of personality and in terms of allure. I still have many things to do. Oh, by the way, I forget to tell you, and I will leave you on that. My most ambitious project might be my shoe number 21, but they are ready, but I didn't receive them for the moment. It's a pair of high boots by the great shoemaker in Italy called Stivaria Savoia in Milano. And they did high boots for me. They are ready. They are ready since a long time, and I will probably wear them at next PT Uomo. It's a pair of high boots. It's a mix between an equestrian boot and a polo boot. Very, very beautiful. Thank you for listening. I give you an appointment for the next installment of Sartorial Talks, and in the meantime, cheers. Mm-hmm.